About your feelings about this decision.
Well, I mean, it's another travesty from the Supreme Court, which is going in totally the wrong direction, taking our democracy away from everyday citizens and giving it increasingly to wealthy donors and PACs and special interests. And the McKeldin case is another step in that direction. They're making it harder for everyday citizens to vote in elections with their activity on the Voting Rights Act, but easier for a small fraction of the wealthiest Americans to buy elections with their decisions in McKeldin and Citizens United. So they're really taking the democracy away from everyday people out there, and I think that's why folks are so angry. There is a solution, even now, and that is to figure out a way to compete against the big money donors, and you do that by creating a system that funds our campaigns with small donors and matching public funds, so candidates can raise money for their campaigns by going to everyday people and listening to them and catering to their concerns and interests instead of having to go hat in hand to the big money and the special interests. So the Government by the People Act, which I've introduced in Congress and has broad support across the country, we think is a real solution to this moving in the wrong direction. It can empower everyday citizens.
What's your name, sir?
Charlie Cooper.
And Charlie, what's your response to the Supreme Court decision today?
Well, I can't say I'm surprised, but I'm very angry that the Supreme Court persists in this error that money is speech. And we have a politics now that's corrupted so far, and this can only make it worse. So I'm very, very concerned about the future of the country. The lowest 90% of the population, in other words, almost everybody, have lost almost 11% of their buying power in the last 10 years. Okay? People are losing. And meanwhile, when the economy grows, it all goes to the top tier. Everything goes to the top people. Nothing goes to the working person. Nothing goes to the pensioner. And education gets more and more expensive. So if you're a student, a worker, or a pensioner, you're out. The only people that are benefiting from any growth in the economy are just a very small elite, and now all of a sudden these people can give millions and millions of dollars to politicians. I think if anyone wants to open a business, they should open a business in selling the phone numbers of rich people to politicians.
Now, Charlie, what group are you with?
I'm with Get Money Out Maryland.
And what can people do to respond to this decision? What can they do?
Well, the Marylanders have a great opportunity because we have measures right in the General Assembly right now that can pass in the next 5 days before midnight on Monday. They're called SJ6 and HJ7. Everyone should contact their legislators and tell them to pass SJ6 and HJ7, the Democracy Amendment. Because what we have to do to overcome this McKeldin decision of today and the Citizens United decision of 4 years ago, we have to amend the Constitution of the United States. The Supreme Court is going to declare anything that makes our democracy work to be unconstitutional. And so we have to amend the Constitution, and the Maryland General Assembly can be the first state to ask for a convention of the states. And this convention, when 34 states ask for the convention, the Congress must convene it. And that convention can write the amendment. So everybody who wants to amend the Constitution to have reasonable campaign finance laws be constitutional has been waiting around for Congress to do it. You need 2/3 of each house to agree on something, which they can't agree on what is the time of day. But here we can amend the Constitution, we the people, without the Congress. That's what we should do. So call your delegate, call your senator, go to mdelect.net, find out who they are, and tell them pass SJ6, pass HJ7.
Okay, thanks a lot, Charlie. Good luck on your end. Okay, and your name, young lady?
Jennifer Bevan-Dangel with Common Cause Maryland.
And Jennifer, what's your response to today's Supreme Court decision?
This is a terrible blow to our campaign finance laws, both at the federal level and particularly here in Maryland. By striking down the aggregate limit, the court is empowering the most wealthy of the wealthy, the 1% of the 1%, to give in an unfettered way to as many candidates as they want. And that's going to drastically change the landscape of our politics.
Senator from Vermont, Sanders, said what this decision does, it just opens it up to the oligarchs, and he talked about the Koch brothers and this guy out in Las Vegas, Adelson, who was just entertaining some of the Republican bigwigs to run things.
Yes.
Is it that bad?
It really is. At the federal level, the limits used to be $1.25 million in your aggregate giving, your overall giving. Well, how many Marylanders or how many people across the nation ever donated $1 million to candidates anyway? So there's a tiny handful of people at the federal level that will benefit from this, and they're the ones that don't need that type of help.
And what can the people do in response to this? What's the way forward here?
There's two ways that we're working to fix things. The one is events like this, trying to get a constitutional amendment that clarifies that political money is not speech, that it's not a protected act. The other piece that we're moving forward in Montgomery County and other counties across Maryland at the state level and the federal level is public funding of elections, where a small dollar donor giving $5 or $50 can have their donation matched and their voice in the process increased through that public match.
Anything else?
In Maryland, the State Board of Elections has already said they're going to have to eradicate our aggregate limits. So we are going to see a very different election in June and November than we thought we were going to see. It'll be the first test of this new rule.
Thanks so much.